Crazy Camp Life, Votes, and Tribals, the life of a survivor is more than you see on TV. So if you need the scoop on island survival, crack a coconut, put on some rice, and let's spill the immunity. Hey everybody, welcome to the show. I am here with Alex today. Brandon is on the road somewhere, so we wish him safe travels. And Gina, I think, is coming back next week to join us in the studio. I'm so excited. Wow. It's been a week. It's been a week of surprises. We lost some fan favorites, at least one of my fan favorites. We crowned a winner. We said goodbye to, I think, a player we completely expected to go home. There's so much to talk about today. I wanted to let everybody know today we are sponsored by The Great Discovery. We are going to be sharing a little bit about that halfway through this, just a quick 30-second break. But we're excited to have a sponsor for the show, so it's kind of a big deal for us. So, hi, Alex.
Hey, Bree. I'm doing well. I'm doing very well. Yeah, we're talking about the season finale of Survivor Australia, Titans versus Rebels. And then I think we're on episode 3 of Survivor 46.
I think we're on episode 4.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah, because there was one, somebody got kicked. Yeah. So episode 4 of Survivor 46 America. Cool.
Yeah, I know. They're starting to fly by. It's so confusing. And now, as we say goodbye to Survivor Australia till next season, I mean, it's gonna take our workload down a bit. Right. I have a tendency to I was so excited to watch these. I could not wait for Australia to come out. And there's so much, but they start to mash together because we get them 3 at a time. Do you think that Survivor, the United States version, would do better if they put more out in a week, or is the 1 90-minute episode just right?
I'm kind of on the fence. I like more Survivor, but when they're both going on at the same time, it's like, this is a lot of Survivor. I'm not complaining, but it is a lot of Survivor to watch. I can't think of another show in America. I mean, you have these Netflix kind of shows that come out on a weekly basis, or they launch 3 episodes at once. But I don't know if the American audience could watch 3 episodes per week and keep track of all of that. Maybe it's just an Australian thing. So I mean, I would love to see more American Survivor, but especially with them shortening it, right? The reason that they can do that on Australian Survivor, because it's like 50 days long. You know,
47. Yeah, it's a 47. Lot. I mean, it's a lot. There's a lot of stuff. They start with more people. So it's a lot tougher to get to the end. A lot tougher challenges. It's a much longer for a lot less money. But they're in it to win it for the title. The money is just a bonus. So it's exciting. I mean, it's been crazy. I think the only other show, there is a show, Big Brother, plays 3 days a week, all summer long, but there's not a lot else on TV during that time. We're in the summertime. So, we'll see. I see Dale's here. Hi, Dale.
And we'll have to have our Australian. Hey, Johanna. We'll have to have our, our Australian resident, our Australian expert come in and say, is this normal? Do they always do this for TV shows? Do Australians just really love binge watching television? It was nice, after you get off of your work day, because it's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Like, oh, I got a new episode of Survivor. Like, that's such a stress reliever for me. I can just really zone out and get into the show. So I kind of liked it because, we work super hard, and then we're like, okay, now we can really tune out and just watch our favorite show, 4 times a week. That was pretty nice.
Yeah, it definitely was really nice. I mean, I think that they do that in Australia and maybe the UK. I've seen when Traders UK came out, there was a few episodes a week. So I'm thinking that that's just us Americans make, which is so funny because we're such an instantaneous nation. We want everything immediate. We want to have we don't want to wait for anything. And so that's where I think Netflix and some of these other places really they would drop a whole season, right? And you can watch it, you can binge it. That was binge watching became a thing. But the networks never got into that. They're like, nope, it's a Wednesday. That's the time you spend with us. We're sticking to that. I wonder if that'll shift at all.
Well,
it seems like they're staying true to that.
Well, they want to push you to their streaming app, and then there's like the live TV, and the live TV is usually an upcharge versus like the normal streaming. And a lot of the other streaming platforms, they don't have a live element. And so I think that's kind of the one differentiation is they still have to, capitulate to the CBS, schedule.
Yep.
Within Australia, there's probably not as much quality television as here in America.
Oh man, gonna get those Australians all right.
Oh no, I'm just joking. It's great. We love it. The Australians are scary, man. They're buff. They're gonna come beat, So I don't know. I think it's probably because they do have to work within the CBS schedule too, right? And now we have Amazing Race on too, and we got Top Chefs. We're watching Top Chef, so lots of TV. I know Top Chef's on Bravo, but it's Wisconsin. I'm from Wisconsin.
I know they're talking about Madison and all these things and how Madison has the best farmers market. Anyway, we digress. So let's get into episode 4 of season 46. Can I just say that I had a moment in the beginning of that episode where I was so beyond happy with production. I wanted to go up and give them all a big smooch. I was like, thank you for giving me this. And I'll tell you what it is. Okay. It was the background music they played for Soda and Tevin. When Soda was singing at camp, they were going to maybe get fish or they were going to get a food reward. And she was so excited. She broke out into song. Tevin was like, coming in with some of the rhythmic stuff, doing some of the drums or whatever he was doing. And Survivor was like, let me put some music to this.
Yeah. And there was some interesting music on this episode. Yeah.
I was so happy for that. Yeah. I loved it. Hunter.
Well, I noticed during the challenge, they had like this, they had some like Ben music in there. It had some like Metallica going on. Yeah.
I was there for that. I like it. Please do more of that kind of thing. That just made my day because like it's fun, right? Like be a little playful, have a little fun. Give us these light, like these beautiful light moments. And I just thought it was really, really cool. I loved it. I know there's probably people that were like, oh, come on, right? This is not Glee. We're not like, it's not a musical, but I just thought it was really cool. I had to mention it. Do you have like a highlight from this episode that was like, oh, I really just like the way they did that?
I don't know if anything particularly stood out. I mean, I did like that they, Banu got to share his story and, he was content with that. And he, it wasn't a tragedy for him. It was, he had got to have a good moment and to share a story, and the story is super powerful. And I like Banu a lot. And so I like that they gave him his swan song, and I hope he feels, good about his time. Cause I think he did win a lot of people and shared his story. And I think people can maybe really sympathize with him and relate to him even a lot. But glad he's gone, honestly, because he's not really made for Survivor. He's just too nice. It's just not the game for him.
And I thought not the game.
I thought Q coaching him, I was like, oh, that was very sweet and very nice. Is Q actually a coach? I mean, does he do this? I know he used to be a football player, but maybe I thought that was very nice too of Q really, Kenzie said it. She's like, you have the patience of a god with us.
Yes.
So yeah,
I'm sure he does. I mean, once you play football, once you're an athlete like that, you stay in the athletic community. Yeah. Ivan's here watching. Hi, Ivan. Good to see you. And he can probably pipe in on that. I think that, there definitely is. There's something about that mindset and that way they do things that I think definitely would continue on. He's used to being coached. He understands it at a high level athlete like that. I think that, you know the mindset that you need to go into things, and you know how to help people and lift them up. If he's a good player, he should have been doing that as a leader, maybe on his team. I don't know, I'm guessing at that, but that's just what I see. And I thought he did really, really well, but it was time for Bono to go. I want to call him Bono instead of Banu. No insult to him, but it was a no for me. So it was
I think you're trying
no
to call him like Bono. I was like, what does he have to do with U2?
No,
Bono.
it's Bono. No.
Yeah, okay.
Bono. He made way too many mistakes, and he just didn't have what I love to call situation awareness. He doesn't have it. That's something, and Q has that, right? Athlete, when you're a high level athlete, you have situation awareness. And so he doesn't have that. And that was his demise. And he was like, did I say too much? And here's the thing, he was talking to them on Yanu. He was talking and he was saying, was it Tiffany and Q? Did I say too much? Like, you didn't even have, even if you did say those things and you realize your mistake, shut your mouth and don't tell your tribe that you said those things. Like, he could have just been like, okay, oh, I should not have said that. Note to self, don't say things like that. And then maybe don't tell anyone that you did say all those things, because he basically made a mistake, realized he made a mistake, and then made more mistakes by, telling everybody I made a mistake. Oh, was that bad?
It just kept spiraling and spiraling.
It just kept, that hole was 40 feet deep by the time he was done.
To the other kind of highlight was the Mariah jumping compilation.
Oh my gosh, I know.
What is it? I mean, bless her heart. Geez, like she never grew up jump. I just don't even understand how that happens. How do you grow up and you don't know how to jump?
She has no vertical.
But she had, I mean, maybe it was all a lie, because she had some pretty good jumps on the challenge. So maybe she was.
Well, she was jumping off a platform. She didn't really need to get any air when she was just jumping on the ground. She I don't think she cleared a half inch off the ground. She has no vertical, but that's okay. I mean, bless her heart, right?
Bless her heart. That's right. That's what my grandma always would say. Bless her heart.
Right? Trying.
Yeah, she's out there trying.
But I mean, she did okay. Mm-hmm. I don't think that the first challenge, Maria was really like, she really struggled with that. And I was like, she was holding the ring straight out in front of her and trying to throw it up. And I'm like, is no one going to tell her to bend her knees and go from the lower?
Yeah, like, you gotta go
your weight
full crouch position and then go all the way up. She's just like,
I know. Over and
sorry
over
to get you like, but like, yeah, I mean, bend your knees and then use all your force. So that was kind of weird, because I was thinking, oh, she's gonna be a really strong kind of competitor, but I don't know, maybe she doesn't have coordination.
Yeah, and then she gets fit. They win fish. Yeah, Yanu finally wins something.
Yeah,
they were so elated and so excited. They really like, they did spank the other teams, right? It was they were far and away up above the other teams on that particular challenge. And Q really came through. He was pretty proud of himself. Like, he came through that time. I don't think in the immunity challenge he didn't fail that. He came from a very last place position and gave them an opportunity to win. So I don't think that he like let his team down by his performance. I don't think we saw that either, but like, he was so hard on himself because he really thought the last time that he should have won that, but he let his team down. But this time I think that he got them as far as he could with Banu screwed up and didn't go off the crates and had to swim back, and that they lost precious time with that. So, and then it looked like he had no clue what he was doing in the water either when it came to retrieving the buoy that they had to throw into the net. So I liked, so I have to ask, I like that they weren't throwing from the dock. I like that they were throwing from an unstable platform to give it, to make it a little more challenging.
And Hunter, this guy's like smart Jonathan. I mean, this guy's like very, very, very good. Maybe one of the best. I mean, if he continues on the streak, he'll be one of the best challenge, performers of all time. So Hunter was pretty impressive again. That was even Tevin called it. He's like, put that ball in his hand and he, it's over. And then 3 shots in a row. I was like, geez, this guy's insane.
Yes, but what kind of target are we putting on ourselves? Hunter needs to be careful because he was outstanding.
Yeah, he's with Tevin, who's a big target too. And so they're kind of both each other's shields in a way.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. We did see some stuff earlier in the episode about the no soda diet that they want to go on. They're looking. I know I'm full of all kinds of fun stuff today. This is how I write myself notes. I wrote no soda diet. No. Okay. But soda is really her mistake was running around and talking to people a little too much, cementing those bonds. And it does get noticed. And so you have to be careful what you're doing at camp. But Tevin, like I thought Soda and Tevin would go a little ways, but definitely I don't think that's going to happen. I think she'll be first out on that if given the opportunity.
Yeah. They may not lose though with Hunter. They might just never lose it. I imagine they'll probably do a tribe swap.
That's what I'm saying.
They'll probably merge. They'll probably split Q and Kenzie up. Kenzie will go to another tribe. So I think that's probably what's going to happen. Yeah, and then the soda decision kind of surprised me too, but it makes sense from Tevin's point of view. She is maybe more likable and outgoing and personable than he is in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So and Hunter too is with him wanting to detach that relationship, so
it benefits very Hunter.
Smart. I agree.
Soda because then Soda's not close to Tevin, even though Tevin and Soda, like Tevin's like not sure of her because of the way she's playing. Like they're both quirky, right? Tevin may be a little bit more grating or having a problem with people because you either like him or you hate him, kind of you either really appreciate that or you don't. I get that. I understand that personality. I love that personality because I'm going to love the guy. And if you don't like him, it's too bad for you. But Soda is bridging her gap. Maybe her music or whatever is a little grating on people, but she's really focusing on getting those personal relationships with people and like really strengthening them. And that's so obvious to Tevin and Hunter that I think I think that's, so it's good for Tevin's game to get rid of Soda. It's good for Hunter's game to get rid of Soda, and Tevin and Hunter could be a great duo that would, if they can stay together through a tribe swap, which I think we'll see. I think that's going to come to pass probably next week. The only reason I say that is it's so hard to sit that many people out of a challenge, right? So now you're looking at half of a tribe being sat at a challenge, which it really doesn't work very well. And it limits what the challenges can be because with some of these challenges, there's components. So some people do this and some people do that. And so if they've got these things planned out, they're going to be like, well, we have to do a tribe swap to make these challenges work, right? So that we can do them all. So that'll be interesting. I think it'd be it'll be interesting to see where Q and Tiffany and Kenzie go. If they get completely split amongst themselves, I think their games might be over because of the Bono, spillage. Talk about spilling the tea. Bono,
they're not gonna be so nice to Bono after they see this episode or after they watch the season. They're like, we were too nice. This guy completely ruined our game. Johanna says in Malcolm and Denise season, they didn't wait until it was just the 2 left before the tribe swap. Yeah, I think they did. I mean, it's possible. We didn't see a tribe swap on the preview for the next episode, and they might allow Tiffany, Q, and Kenzie to go at it. That would be an interesting tribal if they did lose again. I can't imagine that they would lose again. It's weird because they're all 3 strong competitors.
Yes.
And Banu, he was a big guy, strong guy, athletic. No reason that he should have been, bad at challenges. He just kind of a goof. But so it's weird that they, have performed so poorly because they're not, lummoxes, you could say. They're not like non-athletic or not, they're pretty good competitors. So it is weird that they have gone on such a losing streak.
Yeah, I think Kenzie goes if we see Yanu go back to tribal. They don't do a tribe swap. We see Yanu go back to tribal. I think they're going to get rid of Kenzie. I think Q and Tiffany are tight enough that they're going to be like, that's our vote. We have, unless, I don't know if she rolls her, shot in the dark.
Tiffany Tiffany has an idol too, right?
Yes, she does.
Yeah. So Tiffany has an idol. I don't think she'd play it. I feel like she's pretty confident in her relationship with Q.
Yeah.
But Kenzie knows about the idol. So that kind of puts her in a tough spot where she's like, oh, well, we probably can't go for Kenzie in this situation. So can she even team up with Q at that point? Not really.
No.
And Tiffany's, I don't think Tiffany would vote off Q. I think Q might vote off Tiffany, but not the other way around.
Exactly. Yeah, I think Kenzie will go if that's the situation. I hope we see a tribe swap. I much prefer that. I love to see how they scramble and get through things and try to find their way, because it does shake up all of the alliances and everything that you have going on, and new things come into play. So it makes it a lot more interesting as you see that dynamic come to pass. But all in all, I thought it was a pretty good episode. It wasn't like top episode for me, but it wasn't like a really low episode. Right. I do have to say Jem did she did hide everything again and move things around. And I liked that she kind of stayed back and let them, and then was like kind of pushing it on Ben. Isn't it on Ben
Tim.
And on Tim?
She pushed it on Tim, because Tim was really digging down deep on the roots, and she was saying, oh, he's overcompensating.
Right.
Oh, that's very smart. Use a kind of a very big term, right?
Yeah.
She surprised me. I mean, she's very kind of meek and plays a very kind of quiet game, but she's really playing, and she could be kind of a surprise, right? Very low-key game and very likable too, and seems to be in with the right people. She's on, the tribe with Ben and Charlie and Maria and Mariah and Tim. Okay. So, and her main connection was with Mariah. They kind of got that little nerdy girl type of relationship.
The nerdy girl.
Connection. Yeah.
I think it's a good connection. I'm interested to see how it goes. I really hope we get a tribe swap. They didn't say we were, but doesn't mean that they won't. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what they did. I felt like the preview for next week was very short. Like there wasn't a lot to it. So I felt like maybe they couldn't show much because we are in a tribe swap. I don't know. I'm just guessing. But I think if we don't get a tribe swap, I don't see Yanu winning again, really. And it's going to be for my pick. It would be Kenzie. Who do you think would go?
I don't know. I feel like Tiffany. I don't know why, but I feel like Tiffany. I feel like Q would feel like Mackenzie could be a little bit more crafty and get in with people. She is just so, she's very, very good at, I think, this game. But I'm not sure. Tiffany having the idol really confuses things, and that might make it so they want to target Tiffany, and so Q might say she has an idol that makes her more of a threat. He already kind of sees her as a threat, so they should team up and blindside her. It's possible.
It's possible. The other thing that I was thinking with that is because of Banu's tea that he spilled, and they think that Q and Tiffany are this pair. If he shows, it could play better for both Q and Kenzie if they do get rid of Tiffany, because then it'll make what Banu was saying maybe not very reliable and question. So is it Q that's the mastermind? Is it Kenzie? Is it Tiffany? Is that why they got rid of Tiffany? And they could play that off in that direction. So that would actually be a smart move for Q and Kenzie to get rid of Tiffany. I think you have to still keep Q around because he brings so much to the table with his athleticism and his awareness. And he's also a great game player. So I think we shall see how that turns out. But yeah,
he's just so competitive too. Like he won that challenge. He's like, I told you I would make it up. I told you. And he's really, really focused on winning, and he really, if that doesn't happen for him, and that's, having that hunger and that drive and Survivor and really wanting to win that bad, we could, maybe move this into Ferris. Ferris wanted to win so bad, so bad. And so that's, I think, a really important part. And you see all the people who don't, they just, oh, okay. They quit or they give up or they roll over and, stop looking for the idol, lay down in the middle of the trail and say, why, God, why?
Why did you
that was
keep me
funny.
here?
Yeah.
It was funny because I'm like, I probably would have that moment. I probably would do that at some point if I was on Survivor. Like, why?
I'd be doing that the entire time. I always say this. I'd be on the beach. I'd be completely bitten by mosquitoes. I was just like, and then people would have to like drag me into the challenge, prop me up. Because I'd be
Weekend at
dehydrated, lips all chat. Yeah, Weekend at Bernie's. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a good segue to get us into Australian Survivor. We had a lot of things going on with it, but we want to take a second here to talk a little bit about the Great Discovery, our sponsor today. And Alex, I'll let you go ahead and give that a go.
Sure. Yeah. If you get the screen share, let me know.
It's up. We are ready to rock and roll.
So if you are a course creator, if you're looking to create a course, you might have looked at some of these platforms before: Circle, Thrivecart, Kajabi, Go High Level, Skillshare, School. All of these are okay platforms, but what we are doing is something called the Great Discovery. And this is probably the best platform for course creators in 2024 and beyond. And the reason is because, one, it does allow you to host courses. It gives you amazing training and resources to help you create your courses, but it also actually gives you access to sell your course to a global audience by translating your course into over 100 different languages. And so you can actually sell courses in China, in Chinese, and they have dynamic pricing, which will change the price of your course based upon the local economy and what they can afford. So this really opens up the entire world for course creators. You can sell to all 8 billion people on the planet, and it's all done through the Great Discovery. The other great benefit is that you get paid on every single course that your customer buys after they buy your course. So let's say they buy your course and then they go buy 5 other courses on the platform that aren't even yours. You get paid lifetime affiliate commissions on your customers. And the other great part is that they also help you sell your courses through an army of affiliates. So the Great Discovery is made for course creators who are looking to leverage affiliate marketing, an affiliate network, to sell and promote their course. So that is the Great Discovery, a brief overview. If you're interested in learning more, we'll put some links down below this video, but definitely a big shout out to the Great Discovery. It's a great course hosting platform, and we hope that you join us on there.
I love it. Thank you, Alex. I know we're so excited. I'm thrilled to be part of that as well. And Alex and I are building a team together. So if you want to be part of it and join our team, you get all of our support, which is pretty exciting. It's kind of a level up. So if you need help building a course, even, we see that so many times where people get like, oh, I can put my course on there, but now I have to build the course and I don't know how to do it. We're here to help you get that done as well. So, all right. Well, here we are going into our this is the last time we get to talk about this season of Australian Survivor. I'm kind of sad. It was it was really tough to say goodbye to some of my favorite people the last 3 episodes. Before we talk about our brilliant winner, and I do like the winner.
Yep, me too.
We said goodbye to my favorite Kirby. I was so sad. I know you weren't. That's okay. Wham, wham. I know. I loved Kirby. I loved her game. I loved the expertise that she brought. She was in command pretty much the entire game. But like we say, to truly win Survivor, you have to outwit, outplay, outlast. And she was unable to do that. Just because the cards weren't in her favor. And her last hope was Ferris. And, smartly, he did not play his idol for her and she went home. I think that was a smart move on Ferris. I don't like it, but it was smart.
Well, he won. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, I definitely the right move to vote out Kirby. I didn't think it had to be so kind of, he's very theatrical.
He is.
And he has this, I'm not going to miss his kind of, he talks very slow. He talks with a lot of pauses and emphasis. And JLP, I have to stand up for myself for once. I'm just like, oh my God, dude, get on with it. Yeah. So I do like Ferris a lot. Definitely a deserving winner. in a unanimous vote. You don't see that very often. A 100% unanimous vote for Ferris. Even Kitty. Caroline's like, you know, ride or die through the entire thing and didn't even vote for Caroline. So, and I think Caroline, you know, can accept that. And, you know, Caroline should be proud. I mean, I don't think Caroline stood up for herself as much as she could have in the end. You know, I'm the oldest woman out here. I'm 55. I had a lot of control over this game, you know. You know, she did a lot of things in the game, and I don't think she did the best job. I don't think Ferris maybe did the best job either on the final tribal. He kind of lost his confidence when the Kirby thing happened, and he kind of started devaluing. He kind of lost this kind of cocky attitude about things. I wish he kind of would have kept that. But yeah, I thought he was very deserving, and I will miss the season. And I just think, what would happen if he didn't get out so early? How would the game have changed? Because that was my pick. And none of us picked Ferris, which he just seemed a little bit too. He just seemed a little bit too obvious to win in some ways. Like,
I thought his obnoxiousness would get him kicked off a lot earlier. Yeah. And I didn't. I think the reason that we saw Ferris, there were some key things that Ferris did. And I wish he had said this in like, first of all, working with Ray was like, that was really, really important. I think the bond that those two had really carried him through, because Raymond would go pretty much wherever the wind blew with whatever Ferris said, right? If we go this way, Raymond's like, sure, let's go that way. You know, whatever Ferris was telling him to do. So he was like controlling 2 votes at all times. And then he also like took the moment to say, all right, Kirby is my opponent. She is my biggest target. I know that like she has the ability to win, but then he also knew when to suck it up and be like, if I can turn the tides and play with Kirby, that'll get me a lot farther. So he was really fully aware of how navigating this game, I think, together. He knew that would take him a long way, and then knew when to cut the cord at the right time to say goodbye to her. And so, and she, I think she saw it coming. She knew she had to win that immunity challenge. She completely missed the mark, dropping the ball way too soon, and there was no recovery. It was just, they were just in that challenge. They were just close enough.
I really like that challenge too.
Yeah. I do. It's very similar to the American version of it, but this is the old school where you're literally running up the stairs and running back down and running up and it's exhausting, and you really have to nail that timing. Ferris was on that. He was like counting. But I think, you know, with Kirby not winning that, she kind of knew the gig is up. She could have tried maybe a little bit more with Carolyn and Mark. I don't know, because Carolyn already wrote Ferris's name down. So like, I think, but he did have the idol, so it kind of was a moot point. So it was, it really was.
We talked about this, you know, in the previous, it was like Ferris was in a really tough spot. If he took Kirby, she was likely going to win the challenge. Probably not take him, because it wouldn't be smart for her. You know, she's pretty ruthless. If Ferris didn't take Kirby, well, neither Mark or Caroline would take him, you know? And so he was, I mean, he went into that final challenge having to win.
Yes.
And he pulled it off and he won. And I really like the challenge. I always like the ones where they have to like basically be in a crucifix, or like, you know, the endurance challenges where they really got to, you know, just endure. And like it goes into the nighttime and the heat. And I always love those challenges. This is my favorite. And to see him win, I was pretty surprised. I thought, wow, this is going to be a really long battle between him and Mark. But I think Mark cramped up pretty bad. It looked like his back like spasmed and he just couldn't.
And his feet were killing him. Listen, this is one thing I have to point out, because like these little details drive me crazy when I watch something. So they want you to feel like they've been on these things forever. Yeah. But at the hour mark, he's like, you've been here for an hour. Dusk was already starting to fall.
Right.
So they started this challenge really late so that it would go from sunshine to darkness in a relatively quick amount of time, just to make it feel like they've been up here all day, and it's like, even though he's
Right.
giving us the timing, you know what I mean? It just gives that
Well, I
appearance
recall some of the
well,
track where it was like 12 hours or like it was like 6 at least, right? They were like up there for like a really long time. Then production was like, we don't have enough tape for this. We gotta like, we gotta like make these a little bit more challenging instead of just like holding on to the idol, right? So
right, yeah,
yeah.
and who's gonna step out, make the mistake,
What do you
release their hand.
what do you think of them having the family members there for the final challenge and for the final reading of the votes? Because they don't do the reunion. What do you think about that?
I didn't need the family members there while they were
Yeah.
doing the final challenge. I thought that okay, what if they had to go to the bathroom? Did they feed them? I don't know. These are all the things. The dumbest thoughts go through my head when I see like something random like that happen. So I'm like, I mean, it was really cool to have them there, but I would love to see it earlier in the season for like, you know what I mean? Like Survivor US used to do when they would bring the
Right.
families in and stuff. And I would love to see, and if I would give that up to have a little bit of a reunion. Like I really wanted some questions answered.
Yeah.
And so I guess if I was going to give something up, I would have given that up to like because I love having them at when they, give them the crown and they read the votes and all of that stuff. I think it's great to have your family there. Of course, you want to celebrate, right? But I also would love to see a little bit of a reunion, some questions. If that's the way you're going to roll it, then it would have been nice to get that fresh, like, why did you vote that way? Or my question was, if Kirby and Ferris were in the end, who would you, because then it would obviously not been unanimous. We would have seen like, where would your votes have gone?
Yep.
Because I think Ferris didn't want to sit next to Kirby 100%. When she called him out on that, when that was the thing you said, he changed his whole attitude changed after that, is when Kirby said, you were afraid to sit next to me.
Right.
Even though we had agreed to go to final, you were too afraid to sit next to me because you knew I could beat you.
And he answered that because he asked that again. And he said, and this was the correct response, I wasn't afraid, but it was just a smarter decision to go with somebody else. And that's true,
100%.
Yeah. What was I going to say too? Yeah. It's like you get 3 episodes where like nobody's voted off. And then the final episode, you cram all this stuff in there and you don't get a reunion. It's like, okay, we get 3 episodes on the most banal, not important stuff. And then the finale, we get like a 30-minute, and Jaden didn't get to ask a question,
I know.
he maybe didn't have a question or anything, but I like when everybody gets their time to say their thing. And yeah, they weren't as mean as I thought, but it was pretty much just because it was a unanimous decision, for Ferris. Because I thought they were going to dig in a little bit more into Caroline, and Alex had a lot of harsh things to say about her. Of you didn't play a game, and they just kind of brushed Caroline off. And when she said, "Oh, my big move was trying to play my idol, and I played it unsuccessful,"
right, a failed move, and we just saw that, right?
She did a lot of other things,
She did do some things, but we saw that with the US in 45, right? We kept seeing Jake make mistake after mistake, right? He was trying, and you don't get, you really don't get, you get no points.
Yeah,
I tried. Go to a football game and say, but I tried to get in the end zone. Oh, we'll throw you a point. No, they won't.
Right. You're the best player ever. Yeah.
Exactly. It doesn't win you anything, Carolyn. And I think here's my thought. Do you think that Val got in her head when Val said that like 5, 6, 7 episodes ago, when she said, I am going to get rid of the most undeserving player, the player that does not belong here. And that was Carolyn, and she was calling her out. I think that really, really got to Carolyn, and I don't think she forgot that. Something
I think
happened.
That made her want to find that idol and then not tell Mark and Kitty. If she told Mark and Kitty, that could have swayed it. They could have played the idol successfully, So I think that did get in her head and psyched herself out, and she was overcompensating for the lack of play, maybe trying to play a little bit too much and not thinking it, because she's like, it needs to come all down to me. I need to do, I need to be the person. I'm not going to tell anybody. It's going to be the Caroline move. And it didn't turn out because you didn't kind of coordinate with your team. So I think that did get in her head totally. Yeah.
Yeah, she lost it. She didn't do a very good final tribal. She didn't state her case. I thought she, you know, and I don't think the questions were setting her up to do very well, but I think she could have turned them. I think she has life experience enough that she should have been able to like turn them a little bit, but she kind of came across a little defeated. And like you said, Jaden didn't ask anything. There was somebody else that didn't ask anything. And
I don't know if Ree did.
I think
Rihanna, I don't know if maybe she did.
I can't remember.
Raymond? I don't think Raymond, he just confirmed some information. I thought that was like one of, you know, like when I look at Ferris's game versus Kirby's game, Ferris did so many actual more moves than Kirby. Kirby never played an idol, I don't believe.
Yeah.
I mean, who did she, after the merge, what was her big move? Yeah, she was in control of the game, maybe from a feel standpoint, but what were her actual moves?
True.
You know, she like Jaden, her, you know, got voted off. Ree got voted off. Who did she protect? What did she do?
She won.
Yeah, she won. Sure, you know, but like, yeah, they don't even value like immunity wins unless it's like the last one or a fire making challenge. So, you know, this idea that Kirby's the queen or Kirby's this, yeah, she's a very good player. She's very influential. She has a lot of influence over people. She's really good at the big smile and lying and getting people on her side. But I'm having a hard time pointing to like Ferris had the idol for 30 days. He tricked Mark, and Mark actually voted for him because he's like, that was a genius play. He tricked Mark into thinking that Raymond found the idol and it was just the idol that Ferris had.
That was really genius on his part. I really like that.
He was the one who switched the vote at the last minute. When they were, I forget who they were trying to vote off, but they were going to blindside one of the people on Rebels, and Ferris got the vibe, and he was the one who called it out and said, hey, everybody dump your votes. I think it was on Alex.
Yep.
Right. So,
but I think Eileen helped him with that. And I think he did, you know, and she did bring up at final, you know, you should have listened to me a little bit more. And I think he should have, but I think, totally. I don't know. I think it all played out to be fairly, you know, a good season for Ferris. I do think Kirby did a great job. I think, you know, she lost it at the end because she wasn't ready to make the right decisions. But I still love her. I think she would be a great returning player. I'd love to see her and Ferris back again. I don't know if there's anybody else on that I would love to see come back. I did hear before we move into like our final thoughts on this, I wanted to take a minute to talk a little bit about Raymond because that fire making challenge broke my heart. Yeah. I felt for that guy. He could not make fire to save his life. And he's such a likable character. He was such a great, I think he gave great contribution to the overall experience of Survivor for the people there and for the people watching. Because he was quirky, he was different, he had his own style, and bless his heart a lot of times, but he was just he just looks like a really great, like I'd want to be friends with him. You know, he'd be a pal for life kind of a thing.
Yeah, he just seems like a good friend. Really, nice guy. I thought he would do better in the fire making challenge because he is a gamer. You know, he's a gamer. He's you know, he should be a little bit more, you would think, competitive and have a little bit more hand-eye coordination skills. And at the beginning, he was doing pretty well. And then he has I don't know. You saw it some of the challenges. Sometimes he just kind of throws his hands up and you know what? I'm not super into that. You know, when he was looking for the idol, that was one of my favorite moments on the season. Hurricane Kelly was like, hey, you should look for an idol for me. And he's like, okay. And then she walks away and he like kicks a couple of rocks and he's just like, he throws his hands up, sits down, and you know, stops looking. So, and he does own one of the greatest kind of survival trickeroos, you know, deceptions with I'm not good. He wasn't good. You know, so he really, you know, he gets the not good award. But very good, right? Yeah.
Very good.
So he was very good at being not good. So
I see that spelled
I do really like
G-U-D,
Raymond, but he shouldn't come back. Yeah, he shouldn't come back. And it was funny. He's like, looking forward to using 1/5000th of your winning to buy me lunch. So yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was, you know, it was time for Raymond to go. I really didn't want to see Carolyn sitting at the end. I just didn't think she deserved that spot. I would rather have seen Mark there. I think the final tribal would have been a lot more interesting had Mark, been there. But he really screwed up when he threw Ferris under the bus earlier, where he was just like
I thought about that too.
Toasted him, and I was like, nope, you just lost. You lost
strategic
it.
play there, Mark. Yeah. The guy who's probably going to beat you tomorrow. Let's really insult him. Before, let's really say So that wasn't a very wise move by Mark. He probably should have ingratiated himself a little bit more. But I don't think anything he probably could have said could have changed the Caroline. Taking Caroline at the end, unless he didn't win, right? I don't know if Mark could have compelled him. But Mark honestly played a worse game than Caroline. He was the Charlie Brown. Everything he tried to do, the ball just got taken out from under him, and he was never able to pull it together. Yeah. I think he's a really smart guy. I think he wanted to play a really good game, but he honestly had a weaker resume than Caroline.
He did.
So, but he's just a better talker, and so it was smart for Ferris to not to take him. But because he is a diplomat. He is a diplomat.
I was waiting for that, but I'm a diplomat, like Kelly did with I'm a psychologist.
Like, okay.
That's her. I'm a librarian from the Mummy. That's her moment. She was crazy. Kelly did give us good moments. I thought overall it was a great season. It kept me entertained. There was a lot of great people in it. And it was, it was a great finale. I thought seeing Ferris pull that out and staying up on that wheel of torture was brilliant. I don't know why they had the fire ring going, just for dramatic, I suppose. Make it look scarier, but I was just thinking
it was really like a very hellish landscape on the crucifix.
The rocks were really sharp behind them.
It was the Ferris wheel. That was very funny. The Ferris wheel. That was
right. So I thought, overall it was a great season. Now I have to ask the question. I've seen this question come up, and it really, really I can't agree with it. I've heard many people say that this season was as good, if not better, than last season.
No,
not even.
No, that's wrong.
You're all wrong. I'm gonna say
you're all wrong. Sorry to inform you all, it wasn't. Last season was way better. Last season was way better. There was way more twists. They had the core three. They had what they call them, Shoney and Liz, the Shiz and King George. I think Ferris did a pretty good job narrating, but I just really didn't like how he lost his confidence. King George never lost his resolve. King George never lost his confidence. He never was defeated. He never was down. And that probably comes from his profession. He's kind of like a diplomat. He's he works in politics, right? Yep. And that's kind of what disappointed me. And so I think Ferris, he's up there with King George, you could say he's better than King George because he won and King George didn't win. But as far as an orator and driving it and making it very entertaining television, King George, Liz,
not the
Sean,
look. Whatever that look he gave all the time. Yeah. King George, gave us so much more continuous content. He was just in it 100%. It had nothing to do with the money at the end. He just wanted to entertain, and King George did that spectacularly. Ferris gave us a lot, and he won, and good on him. Just like Kirby said, good on him. I agree with that, but he's not at that King George level when it comes to great TV. Obviously he won, so he did a great job, but it wasn't as entertaining, shall we say. But he might have won an Academy Award. You never know. It could happen.
Yeah, he didn't touch on that as much as I thought. He was very proud of that move, and he really didn't touch on it very much. And it was a very good move on his part. Johanna says Raymond would have won the Sia money. Totally. Yeah,
maybe.
I wonder if Raymond is a fan favorite, because a lot of people. I could see a lot of people maybe not liking him because they're like, who's this? He doesn't care enough, right? He's not taking it seriously, that type of thing. Some people might not find him endearing and likable, but I agree. He should have won the CM money. He was definitely the most likable on the season.
I thought he was adorable. I liked him coming in jury too, because he was so excited, and he was he was like when he saw Ferris with that with the immunity necklace on him.
Yeah.
He was he was so happy for his friend, and he just has this sweet, even though he was devious, which I think is the new age villain. Like, I love that Australia will let you be a villain and they will embrace the villain. And we're just too, the words that come to my mind, I can't say on TV. So, but we can't villains are so bad and we don't want villains. But I think Survivor villains, it's a certain thing, right? We need the Johnny Fairplays, and we need the Sandra Diaz Twines, and of course Boston Rob. They're lovable villains. They're devious, but you love it, and they're doing all the things that you're like, you just want that to be, because you have to have that. It can't all be kumbaya. You have no show. If everybody's just happy-go-lucky and getting along, and aren't we great, and we're singing around the campfire all the time, we need the deviousness. We need some of come on, it's for $1 million.
Yeah.
Do what you got to do. Bottom line, you just met these people.
Right.
Your family's
don't make the Austin mistake. Yep.
So.
Yep. Yeah. The villain things, you're right. It's like a deviousness. It's this Cheshire grin, and I love you so much, and it's all good vibes, but it's just a very different type of villain play. But Jeff was saying this, during the pandemic, they attracted a much younger audience, and you saw this on the on the American Survivor episode when Ben was kind of consoling Maria, and helping her kind of process, and they're really making it about the story of overcoming, right? And that everybody has their kind of hero's journey, and you can kind of speed that up through Survivor, and you can go through a lot of personal development and overcome a lot of these, traumas or whatever they call it, right? So Australia, it's really not a lot about the story, right? You didn't really hear too much about anybody's story. I mean, do you know anything about Jaden? Do you know anything about Valeria's story?
Not a lot, no.
Right. I mean, Valeria's got a pretty crazy story. I mean, from Russia, and but you never hear that. On American Survivor, they really dive deep into their personal background and who they are and how did they grow up and what are their challenges, right? And then, again, Raymond, what's Raymond like back home? What's his job? You never hear anything. So I think it's just a different, maybe it's because there is this younger generation, so they're trying these kind of more kind of comical editing styles and different types of challenges and different storylines.
Yeah, it's definitely the audience. What you play to the audience, and that's what they want. But as normal, no one is ever happy with Survivor. There's always people saying, if you do this, it'll be so much better. And then they were to do that, and then they're still bitching about it. It just doesn't seem to make not everybody. You're never going to make everybody happy. That's what happens. For all you super fans of Survivor Australia, Ferris has joined the Tribe Has Spoken. It was announced yesterday. So if you are a fan of Australian Survivor and you want to connect a bit with some of the players, head over to Facebook and look up the Tribe Has Spoken 2.0. We love that group. We are in there and active, and the admins in there are absolutely outstanding, and you're going to have a lot of fun and get to know a little bit of background on a lot of people. So I wanted to give them a shout out. They've been very kind to us and let us post things in there. And we found some great guests from there as well. We found Brandon, who was not here today, but he was a super fan in the Tribe Has Spoken, and that's how we connected. And he got to be a co-host on the show, which we love. A little tidbit: I am watching Deal or No Deal Island with Rob Mariano, and he is killing it over there. And there's a player over there. Her name is Amy. And talk about doing them dirty. She will tell you, I love to play games with my kids, and I don't let them win just to be nice. They need to know that the world is a tough place, and they have to earn what they get. And I'll leave that there for everybody. Yeah, so interesting, a different take on how the games are played from that island to another island with the banker. It's a little different over there, and they're a little more cutthroat and don't mind being villains. And Rob is in his element doing things that he is just amazing at doing. So if you need a little Rob fix, head over to Deal or No Deal Island. It is on Peacock. We are not sponsored by Peacock, but we will be soon, I hope. Oh man, what a fun season of Australia. What was your favorite thing from the whole season?
I was going to ask you the same thing.
Great minds.
That's right. Let's see. I liked Jaden the Challenge Beast. I think Raymond's moment was really good, and I always just like when they bring out the toasties. This will be our last toasties for a while, guys. Toasties, yay! So I always like when they bring out the toasties. And I'm just always happy when somebody who is deserving wins. When it's somebody who I feel like, oh, they didn't deserve to win, it kind of spoils the whole season. So I'm just happy that Ferris won. That somebody who, wasn't like two people like, how did they get here? Right. They just kind of lucked out so I'm happy to see Ferris win. We'll call him Ferris Wheel now. Ferris Winner. Well, never mind. Winner was already a character. So I liked, those are some of my highlights, I guess. What about yours?
I think for me, I love a really good story. I love, I want to see a battle between great players. And I think I got that this season between Ferris and Kirby. I saw them go at it in the beginning, and they were both worthy opponents. They came at each other. Things changed. They adapted. They came back together, and together were very strong for a while. And then when it came down to it, we see that a lot. If the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of a thing. And so when it came time at the end to say, okay, gloves are off, we are now, we've cleared the field, and it's us, we're against each other. Even though it wasn't stated that way, it was great to see Ferris say at the end, when it comes time and I need to take you out, I will take you out. And he did that, and that got him the win. I think personally taking Kirby out was the winning thing that he needed. And then that final immunity challenge, of course, but I love to see that.
That was the Liz voting off King George, moment.
Yes.
Liz and Shawnee voting off King George. I also just thought that the Garrick vote off was really fun too, because that was the first time that Kirby really pulled the wool over Ferris's eyes, and there was that contention. I thought that was a pretty good tribal too. So, but yeah, I agree. Like when you the two people really go at it, you have these two titans. I know they're both rebels, but when you have these two titans of Survivor go at it and be two big threats the entire time, that's cool to see. So,
yep. Well, before we wrap it up for today, I got one thing left to say. We've had a lot of American players head down to Australia to play the game down there with the Aussies in the hard to play Australian Survivor. And they're all, we got to get these Americans out. We saw Nina, we saw Sander, we saw Russell. We've seen people head down that way. It's time that we see a few of you Aussies come on up here and try your hand at our Survivor. So stop calling us out. Why don't you apply? Jeff says it every week. Come on and apply. So why don't you head on up here and apply? We'd love to see how you do over here. But right now, we're going to get into 46, episode 5 next week. Be here. We will be live every Thursday at noon Eastern time. Thanks for joining us. Big thanks to Great Discovery. If you want more information, check it out in the description, and we will see you guys next week. Bye, everybody.